most important thing. A woman that has been a role model to me, a woman that I admire, a woman that has achieved the American dream, a woman that shows that it doesn't matter what they say about us, about the racism, about all the negative things that they say. She embodies what we are: strong, powerful, feminine, beautiful. I'm talking about us women, girls. Please help me welcome Congresswoman Mia Love.
Jewish Republican guy got the two black Republicans. He and I are really good friends. I've known him for a while. I'm always asking, how did you get Diana? Like, how did that work? And it's so funny because every time he asks me to do something, I'm always there. So I guess I can answer my own question. I have to tell you, it's what Stacy was talking about is so important for us today. We see our nation changing in a direction that I think it's very concerning. But I'm here to tell you that there's hope. When my parents immigrated to the United States from Haiti legally, they were willing to come in. And they learned how to speak English. They studied American history. They studied the Constitution. As a matter of fact, they would tell you that they knew more about American history at the time than most Americans did. And when they pledged their allegiance to the American flag for the first time, they said not only did they know what they were saying, but they meant every word of it. Weren't willing just to take on the blessings of being a citizen of this country, but they were willing to take on the responsibilities of being a citizen in this country also. I am also proud to tell you that my father's first vote for American president was Ronald Reagan, so badge of honor. Why I believe in the things I believe in. I'll tell you a quick story, and then you'll know how I got to be the way I am. My parents taught me lessons very subtly. My dad, he would, whenever I wanted something, I don't know why he did this, but he would actually make me write an essay as to why I needed it. Now understand, I'm the youngest child, so I had it easier than the rest. So he would make me write an essay, and after I wrote this essay, if I convinced him that I needed this item, he would say, "Great, honey, let's go figure out how we can get you to pay for half of it." So my mom, on the other hand, she was a little bit more subtle in the lessons that she taught me. This will come full circle in a second. My mom, if she saw, every time we turned on the TV, we would look around the corner to see if mom was there. Because if mom was there, she would come around, turn off the TV and say, "Go do something productive. Go." So one day I thought I was going to teach her a lesson. I said, "Okay, fine." And I took a friend of mine and I said, "We're going to go make something in the kitchen. We're going to go and cook something." I made what many of you made. It may look like a cobbler. I'm not sure if that's what you would call it. But I remember putting a bunch of fruit and a bunch of oats and something, and I stuck it in the oven and the whole thing bubbled over. And there was a sticky mess at the bottom of the oven. So that every time for weeks, my mom would turn on the oven and it would smoke everyone out of the kitchen. And it's funny because it was one weekend when I came in, I saw my mom scrubbing the oven and cleaning out the oven. Well, fast forward, and I am in my first campaign, in which we lost by 768 votes. You'll never forget that number. And I catch my mom, she came in to help me, and I catch my mom sticking a lasagna in the oven. So I run over I grab the lasagna out, grab a cookie sheet, line it with aluminum foil. I take the lasagna, I put it on the cookie sheet, and I stick it in the oven. And my mom said, Mia, what are you doing? I said, Mom, this might bubble over. And she said, do you remember what you did to my oven? I said, yes, Mom, but I paid for this oven. And you know, it's funny because they're still teaching me lessons, because she said, now you know why your dad made you pay for everything, because they knew that if you had some skin in the game, that if you worked hard for something, you would own it. It would be yours. You would cherish it and you would take care of it. They taught me that I wasn't entitled to anything I didn't own, earn for, work for, or pay for myself. And I am grateful for those lessons. I'm grateful because it's those lessons that allowed me to be a successful mayor. It's those lessons that allowed me to give the people that I was serving a voice. I may not be able to save everyone from everything, but I know for a fact that at least I'm giving them the power and the chance to do it themselves. And to me, that's very American. Do I believe that we have an obligation to care for those who cannot care for themselves? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I believe that if we have resources to help take care of our neighbors, we should use those resources? Absolutely. But I also believe that the day we need a federal government to force us to do what we know we should do is the day that we are less than American. Now, I have to tell you, I don't know how many of you guys know, Lee is one of my best friends in Congress, and we're very close. Our families are very close. As a matter of fact, one of the children, one of his girls is going to marry my son. Diana and I have planned it in spite of their father. No, but we are a very close knit family. We have, it's really interesting, we spent Easter together, and I have to tell you, there is no better patriot in the United States Congress than Lee Zeldin. I am not just saying this, I can tell you firsthand that there are times where we are in the cloakroom and Lee is never idle. He's either on the computer, working on something, or really stressing out about a vote and getting down to his principles. I'm telling you, this is a person that goes out and fights for New York harder than I've ever seen anybody else fight for the state of New York. It gives me hope. It gives me hope. When I first met Lee, I thought he was quiet. I kind of had this idea that Lee is kind of like quiet. I was like, how did this guy get elected to New York? I mean, as a senator in the New York State legislature as a Republican, like, how did that happen? And I remember just kind of like putting him off aside. We met at this Aspen Rodale leadership before we became members of Congress. And he told me this story, and I'm going to leave it with this. He told me this story that, you know, how he was this kid that signed up for karate, and he was always just this lanky kid, and everybody thought, you know, that they can beat him. He said that you get two types of people. You get one that sits back and waits for somebody to come after them, and then you get somebody that just goes full force. And he said, you know, I would just kind of like, these people would kind of like wait, and they would see blood. They would, like sharks, they would see blood in the water because he was so lanky and so kind of and tiny, I guess, as a kid. Lee, that's a kid, not as an adult, Lee, as a kid. And he said that he would just go crazy, and the judges or the refs didn't know where the punches were coming from, so they would just give it to Lee. And he went on to like win like some state championship with that method. And I have to tell you that Lee is on the ground, on the floor, fighting all day. I don't know if you've seen any of his floor speeches, but my favorite line from Lee was, Mr. President, you are the leader of the free world. Act like it. to go to places that we've never been before, because our children are learning that this country is less than perfect. They're thinking that other countries do it better. As a matter of fact, they're being taught in schools that this is not a place that is worth fighting for. And that really sears my soul, because we still live in the greatest country on earth. And it's because of one thing, and it's the main thing that we're fighting for. We live in the greatest country on earth because of freedom. Freedom to be, that's what our soldiers fought for. Freedom is what my parents left Haiti for. They didn't leave Haiti to come here and find out that the president wants to be the executive, legislative, and judicial branch. Freedom is what allows people to take all of their funds and their efforts to put in and take a risk, to put into something that just might work and provide funding and prosperity for their families. Freedom is what every man and woman that puts on a uniform, that goes to a foreign land and risks their lives to fight for. That's what they're fighting for. Not some idea of hope and change. Not for distribution of wealth. Not for pretty much enslaving the American people, but it's freedom. It's having the opportunity to fail, because failure is not final. My parents failed many times, and only in this country can we as people, there's no way that we are ever predestined to be poor. That if we work hard enough and we save and we're educated and we're thrifty, that is the thing that's better than any government program that's out there. So I think without further ado, I think we have a video that we need to put on, yes? Stay tuned and watch the video. Thank you.